T.
What's Adam?
I'm Moma.
Moba.
Today we're really excited to hear your love story. This is something that our viewers have been asking, like whenever there's a video of you guys. I'm very happy because today we get to document your love story. The big question that people had is how does a doctor and an artist end up together? Let's start with a simple question. How long have you guys been married?
34. This is our 34th year.
That's longer than you've been alive, Haley.
Sometimes it works that way.
Sometimes.
For the first part, we're just gonna leave the floor kind of open. What is your love story?
We met in college. We were both in our third year of school. We were dual majoring in philosophy and pre-med. He wasn't quite sure yet which direction.
That's something that people find kind of interesting is why did you study philosophy and now you're a doctor?
I met a guy when I was about 20 years old who was a podiatrist. And I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I met this guy and he bragged about how great the job was. And he got me interested in going into podiatry. But while I was in school, I took a philosophy course. I read a few philosophy books and I really liked that. I was drawn to that. Didn't really know which one I wanted to go into.
Do you remember I gave you a book?
Yeah, and then Jess put even more ideas in my head about living this authentic life. There's a book that's very popular in the States called Walden. It's all about living free of encumbrances and living an authentic life close to nature and not worrying about your job, not worrying about tomorrow. That book was also pretty influential on my young mind.
Dad had a scholarship actually to a college in San Francisco. After reading that book, he decided to reach out to them and ask them if he could hold the scholarship so he could do a year of philosophy to decide if he wanted to do philosophy or medicine.
I was a pre-med major when we met. One thing that I loved about Jess was she would have supported me through a whole philosophy degree, knowing how uncertain that is for your future prospects. She just wanted me to do what I wanted to do, and that's one thing I loved about her. She's always supported me. She will support me in whatever I want to do. The reason that we met though is because we moved into the same housing in a place called the Glenwood.
Which is so funny because that's where we grew up. That's where you guys live.
Yeah.
It was foreshadowing.
What were you studying?
I was studying art. Before that, I got an associate's in psychology. And when I transferred to BYU, I started an art program. And I came all by myself. I didn't know anyone. So Dad was my first friend.
What?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
What did you think about her doing art?
I've got to get to her quickly.
Yeah.
I saw some of her artwork and I was blown away by it, how good she was, honestly. She has a very natural, innate talent that she didn't have to study anything for. It's just the way her circuitry is wired. She's amazing that way.
And he is a very good cartoonist. Art is really what started our friendship. He would come over and I'd be in my room drawing or doing, an assignment. You would watch me and then you'd sit on the side and just do your cartoons and we'd talk. That's kind of how our friendship started.
So you guys were friends first?
Yep, we were friends for at least 2.5,
for a
3
while.
months.
That makes me wonder, what were your first impressions of each other?
Loved his hair. Oh my word, the head of hair.
Not what it used to be.
I loved his wit and humor. Honestly, nobody had ever made me laugh as hard as Dad. Thought he was so funny and super intelligent. I loved that we could talk about deep conversations. I think we even cried. You cried sometimes. I also thought he was a bit annoying and a prankster because he would, in church, he'd tap my head with pens. He'd sit above me on these angled seats. He'd tap my head with pens and be like, he'd take things from me and I wouldn't know where they were.
I feel like this story has been repeated enough times that I have to clarify. It was my roommate tapping you with a pen.
And I've never heard that part.
So first impression of Mom was she was very pretty. I was attracted to her. We were friends, and I think a lot of the friendship was based on the fact that first she was really easy to talk to. I could talk to her about anything. She's one of the rare people that when you talk to her actually asks you questions about yourself. You know how most people just want to talk about themselves?
Yes.
Here I'm doing that. But Jess would actually ask you things, and I've always admired that about her.
So you guys were friends. Who made the first move?
Well, I did. I had to ask him to dance so back in our era, dancing was everything. So we were friends. One day we went on a hike. As we were hiking, I just thought, I think I like him. And I just wanted to hike with you the whole time. There was 12 of us, all of our roommates. I just wanted to keep being near him. Shortly after that, there was a karate tournament in my hometown in Idaho, which his brother happened to be competing in. So it worked out for us to go on a road trip. It was about a 3-hour drive. With the road trip, you get to know each other really well. We get home and within 30 minutes, I beelined it to his apartment. I think I acted like he forgot something, but I don't think I had anything.
Me.
He forgot. And we kissed.
So-
We kissed that night.
How long was your first kiss?
I don't know.
I'm not
We
gonna
would time
comment.
that.
And then he had a motorcycle.
Oh.
To realize how much I enjoyed our friendship and kind of liked her too, you gotta realize I never had any courses in college before noon. I didn't get up before 10:30 or 11 because I like to stay up late. She had like 7 a.m. classes. I would get up early and drive her to class on my motorcycle.
Oh.
Because she would like sit behind me and just like lean in, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
And then
this
he'd
is a
like
good
purposely
friendship.
do this, so I go like this. We had frozen eyebrows and frozen eyelashes.
Yeah, it was cold.
Because it was in the middle of winter.
Aw,
And he'd
so
ride me to
romantic.
school and I was just melted. And
I
I
don't
loved
know.
kissing on his motorcycle. You can delete that, but that.
And another thing that I remember about the motorcycle is taking you to Squaw Peak. We took a hike through the trees and the leaves and everything. We were just friends and we just laid down and looked up at the sky and talked to each other for a while.
And Noah would cry.
That's when Noel cried.
This is not
Dad cried.
But he did something nobody had ever done before. That melted me too. You played with my hair. We
So
were laying in
sweet.
the leaves and he played with my hair. I should do a painting.
Guys, your story is really romantic.
Oh, we have to tell them about our first date.
Jess's apartment had a party that they were throwing for Halloween.
So we met in August and our first date was in October.
Okay.
October 31st. The theme of the party was prisoners of love. Some of my roommates liked some of his roommates, so it kind of worked out. So we all got these white t-shirts and we did stripes across like little jailbird. Got on his motorbike. I wore this leather jacket that he had with it. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was fun. And we went to a haunted house.
She got really
I
scared.
basically
Pretty
climbed
awesome.
all over him.
Before the internet and social media, people just did more fun stuff, I feel like.
Oh yeah, you planned like fun and wild dates.
And you guys went dancing like
Yeah,
all
we did
the
go
time.
dancing. That's one thing that I really enjoyed doing also, even when we were friends, is I loved the way she danced.
One of my favorite things that I remember like growing up that you guys did is you guys enrolled in dance classes together and you would go every like whatever night of the week.
The swing, the waltz, the cha-cha.
She's so much better at dancing than I am.
Did you ask mom to be your girlfriend? Like was there a official
No.
moment?
We
Just
just
happened.
knew.
Well, take us forward after that. Get us from there to I love you.
I love you first.
Oh, yeah, who did say I love you first? We just did.
How did your relationship progress after that?
So I would bring her up to my parents' house, my family's house for dinner.
Yes, meeting
I
with
loved
parents.
that too. She was so funny when she met my parents. I loved it. My dad had a little
No,
tummy.
don't tell me. No.
Okay, you have to.
The first time she met my dad, we're saying goodbye and she goes, "Oh, you're cute."
He must have said something funny.
100% you did do that. I could totally see you doing that and you meant no harm from that.
Oh, I loved his family. I've never seen a family that laughs so much and is so joyful and happy.
When did you guys know that they were the one?
It all just happened so organically and naturally. I don't think there was ever a moment that I could pinpoint thinking, this is the one. I just started seeing her in all of those things that I would picture in the future. There are people who kind of go through kind of a decision process. I don't know how it was for you though.
I feel it was the same, but I remember constantly thinking, he's something special. I can't let this guy go. When we would do Sunday dinners that he would play with his nieces and nephews, and I loved that. I knew he would be a great dad.
You were attracted to how we kept our apartment.
Oh,
Was it gross? Yeah,
She liked my breakfast.
Dad made me breakfast one morning.
This is so bad.
It was steak, believe it or not, from the vegetarian. He also made toast with it, and he wanted to keep it warm for me before I got there, so he put everything in the microwave, and I couldn't even chew through the toast.
Steak
I'm
in the
like-
microwave, toast in the microwave, egg in
I'm
the
like,
microwave.
oh,
Like it's still warm.
but it was so sweet.
We were not great chefs.
you guys are both great chefs now.
I made pasta and I poured sauce in it and put cheese on it. I probably had that 4 nights a
Okay,
week.
we
And,
actually still do that, and we call it college pasta. Eat it out of the pot. So this is Bridal Falls. These are our roommates. This is right after we got engaged. We drove up to my parents the next day.
This looks so much like
cool.
Peyton. You guys are so cute. There's your first date. They're prisoners in love. The hair is
awesome, you guys.
amazing. You guys lived like what every movie growing up looked like to me.
Like Grease.
How did you even get your hair like that?
Perm and a lot of hairspray.
Oh, look at that.
March 8th, 1991, he asked me on top of Provo Outlook.
You guys look so happy. Tell us more about the engagement. What happened there?
Tell us from like getting the ring.
Gosh, I would have started looking for the ring in January.
Wait, hold on. So first date to let's get a ring.
2 months?
Yeah, just over 2 months?
It might have been.
Did that feel fast for you guys? Because by
Actually,
today's
so-
standards, that's really fast.
It didn't really feel that fast.
No,
I think partly
it's not
because we
that
were good friends and we were spending so much time together. It sounds really fast from the outside. She was my best friend. I was spending every free moment with her. So it seemed like we had a lot of time to get to know each other. It didn't feel rushed to me.
That's something that I thought about too when Adam and I were dating. Like we were together all the time, but I do know a lot of couples who like only see each other like a couple times a week, like after work or something.
Yeah, for a couple where you kind of only see each other a little bit throughout the week, that's like a year and a half. For their 2.5 months.
So the ring.
I had a big problem. That was I had no money to get one. So I sold my motorcycle and I used that to get Jess's ring.
But I didn't know it until after he proposed. I was like, but you loved your motorcycle.
It was a Honda Magna. At one time it was the fastest production motorcycle.
It was just like the sweetest thing I could ever think of.
Think about
to
the
do that.
pressure that put on her to say yes.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen at some point. We went on a date and it was his turn to kind of plan it. And so he said, I've got a picnic basket full of food. And we went over the overlook. He said, I'm gonna go get the picnic basket, I'll be right back. But he came around to my side of the car and he opened the door and got on his knee. And he said, will you make me the happiest man in the world and marry me? And I immediately said yes. And then we had some grapes and crackers.
I try to do things kind of the
Really
traditional
quick,
way.
though.
I did the whole thing where you go and you ask the father. So it was pretty traditional.
our
So then we
apartment.
went back to our apartments, kind of told her roommates. Then we went to my parents' house.
Yep.
No, don't show that.
You guys look so dapper.
Look at that fashion of the belt.
Seriously.
This is where he asked me to marry him.
I got that car also by selling my motorcycle.
It
My
was-
car cost $800.
Yeah, a Dodge
way.
Colt.
Yeah, she's the cutest. Look at that.
How old were you guys when you got married?
I was 21 and he was 23.
What is this?
That's the old-fashioned phones, Haley.
That's a real phone? No, that looks like a toy. These are your engagements? I'm
Wow.
obsessed. Mom, your outfit is so cute.
Dad bought me that outfit.
Oh, the colors go so
And we
well
matched.
together.
How did you know
Yeah.
what to get her? I
Gap,
want her to wear
Gap
that.
was everything.
Get mom anything, she'd look good.
Can I have this dress? Where is this dress?
I think I borrowed it from my roommate.
I wish that this style still existed.
These are pictures we'd send to each other.
Because you did long distance.
We had to both work to pay for the wedding.
I worked out of state for a while.
You sent each other these pictures? That's
Yeah.
Like doing a kissy face.
Dad wrote me a poem and sent it in one of the letters.
Oh my gosh, the wedding! And you got married August 8th, 1991.
We went on a honeymoon, we drove for days and days and went to Cannon Beach,
You
Oregon.
wore matching sweaters? You guys are
That's
my
awesome.
goals. Honey, why don't we have matching sweaters?
We have matching socks.
That's our first Christmas in our first apartment.
You guys are so happy. It's so awesome.
I remember your mom like following you everywhere, like not letting you be alone with me. And we'd already been married.
Dad, how has mom supported you in your career as a doctor? How has dad supported you during your art?
She has always said, I want you to be happy. There's so many times that I would probably come and talk to her and be like, I don't know what to do with this, I can't decide that. People who go to medical school or schools like that, sometimes there's a lot of questioning whether you did the right thing or not, and you've already invested a lot into it, and then you're like, I'm not sure this is right. Every time I would talk to you, all I want is for you to be happy. And I can't even tell you how much that meant to me. If I said to Jess today, I said, Jess, I really feel drawn to making kombucha the rest of my life, and I want to live on a commune. She would be like, well, if that makes you happy, we're going to find a way to make it work.
Well, Dad's that same with me. He's always supported me with art. When he was going through medical school, I was able to go through art school. I would do my classes mostly at night. He would come home and play with Ian, even though he had his studies to do so that I could go to art school. Everything he said, I can say the same about him.
Did you ever feel like your parents put pressure on you to do a certain career?
No. Never. My dad was raised in a home where there were huge expectations on him all the time. You're going to do this is how you are, this is what we do as a family. He decided he didn't want to raise his kids with that. I got good grades and so forth, but I never felt pressure to go a certain way, do a certain thing. I probably could have used a little more direction. No, I'm just kidding. That's another thing I'd say about her is I was really impressed with how she made her own way. She was not given college tuition. She was not given apartments and housing. She worked very hard, but she also had to be smart and she had to figure things out.
Could you guys describe the other person in one sentence?
Noel's the most selfless person I know. That's everything.
Well, that's sweet of you. I think of you as the most authentic and loving person.
So sweet, you guys are so sweet. Aww. Next up, we have a little game for you guys to play. We're gonna ask you guys some questions.
And then you want to see if the answers match.
What color is mom's toothbrush?
White with some blue-green.
If Noel were an animal, what animal would he be? Why giraffe? Because he's tall.
Tall and eats vegetables.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
What is mom's favorite medium to paint with?
Sure.
Go.
Nice. Who is more likely to survive a zombie apocalypse?
Me.
Oh, what?
I know what to do a lot with zombies.
So I
don't shoot 'em.
I just feel like Jess has such a high wound nervous system for avoiding danger. She is capable of doing things that her rational mind would never let her do.
There's one time that we were watching a scary movie. You don't want to sit next to mom when it's a scary movie. She grabs dad, wound up, and just punched him.
No, she does that every scary movie.
But, like,
she
she
beats me up.
squared,
If
like-
a zombie was coming, she would kill me with a shovel.
Why does hitting other people help you deal with the fear?
I don't know.
I've watched scary movies with you guys and she'll just hit the people around her.
How many patients does dad see in a day on average?
Good job, you guys. What is Jess's weirdest talent?
Show each other.
Yes, that's true too.
Why they're both by your tongue?
Whoa! Wait, you can actually tie a knot?
Mom would get like cherries in the summer and she could tie a knot just with the stem.
I thought that was actually impossible.
What is the most meaningful gift that dad has given you? Gift!
Aww.
What is your ideal date night?
Watch a movie, eat Milk Duds, and Dad's really pop popcorn. We have date night a couple of nights a week.
I wrote good food, movie, and popcorn with milk duds.
So it involves the popcorn and Milk Duds.
We do that with you guys every time we come visit you. It's awesome. We all know that Jess's biggest fear is snakes. So let's do, what is Noel's biggest fear?
Being wrong. Just kidding, heights.
What would the other person's last meal be?
Easy.
Zabion.
Din Tai Fung, ice cream, and fries.
Mom and dad had an anniversary plan a couple years ago to go to a national park in Colorado. I called them, I was like, oh, like, are you guys getting ready to go? And they're like, oh, we canceled that. We're on flights to go to Vegas and we're going to eat Din Tai Fung.
We flew to Vegas, we ate twice in the weekend.
What's one thing that dad always forgets? What about put?
To put the garbage out.
Keys, wallet, phone, garbage, you name it.
Alright, well guys, in closing, we want to ask you, what is your best tried and true marriage advice? 34 years, what have you learned?
Marry the right person, somebody who gives and gives and gives a lot of themselves, and I think that's what Jess does. Make changes if you need to make changes and try to be the kind of person that you need to be. I've always wanted to find someone that I could love and be loved by. That was a goal and a very important thing in my life, and I feel so fortunate that I found that with Jessica. I know not everybody finds that kind of a situation, not everybody's even looking for that kind of a situation, but when you have it and that is something that is so critical to your happiness, then I think it's worth investing whatever resources you have to try to make it work. Even people who want it don't always find a partner who is equally invested. If you're willing to work through things and your partner is not, then obviously that's not fair. It's not a situation that you want to stay in.
You can get through any challenge as long as you love someone. Marriages have challenges. The friendship thing is the main thing. You know, always staying friends.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to answer our questions and share your story. We love your story.
Thank you guys for sharing your story with us and our viewers. This is something that we'll always want to look back on and remember.
Yeah.
So, love you guys.
Thanks for letting us talk about it. It's fun.
Yeah, thank you for being interested.
Being around young couples in love is a good thing for older couples.
I've never heard that before.
They want us to
really
make
nice.
out in front of them. No. 谢谢大家观看，希望你们看得开心。
爱你们喽，我们下期见，
下次见，
拜拜。
拜。大家好，我是
我是 Adam，
欢迎来到我们的频道。
我们今天有一个比较特别的计划。
Bobo 要指定我们的一天，这边有选项，蛮多好玩的选择。
活动、衣服、吃的，我们都会给他做指定。
我们上次去看医生，健康检查都会附一个那个阶段的一些建议。现在 Bobo 这个年龄，他比较想要自